Hello to all the comic fans, Marvel geeks, and all the nerds in between. Welcome to another episode of the Vigilante Vibes podcast, where we talk all things Marvel, along with other fandoms, but without the toxicity that's taken up way too much space in each and every fandom. I'm your host, Megan Nicole, and we're here to have another episode of elevating the nerdy voices of the rainbow, where we lift up the voices of the LGBTQ plus communities. Today, I have the biggest Young Avengers fan to ever walk the seven seas. Please welcome the amazing Cameron with me.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on. I'm so excited.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about you?
Sure. My name is Cameron Cole. I am, as a day job, I DJ in New York City and sort of working on moonlighting as a filmmaker. We just finishing the final stages of post-production on the first movie that I wrote and directed. Lifelong comic nerd, specifically mostly Marvel, but, you know, I have been branching out a little as of recent. But yeah, for sure, huge Young Avengers fan, like for the entire 20 years they've been out now.
So you say you've been dabbling in other things besides Marvel. What have you read?
John Kent, in particular, has gotten me really invested in a lot of DC stuff, as well as several other queer characters. Like, I can't really disconnect to show you, but, like, my living room is just a huge amount of, like, comic books I've been collecting, as well as action figures. Like John Kent, Tim Drake, and Harley Quinn all caught me kind of reading DC in a way that I'd never really had before.
I love Tim Drake. I wish more people did.
I
want to hug him so bad. I want to love him. He's one of those characters you just love to love.
Yeah, DC has really done a lot with queer characters in the last, 15 years, I'm guessing. But, in particular, those three are really ones that I've been, focused on.
Oh, well, those are pretty good ones to be focused on. I love those. So with Marvel, you're so into Young Avengers. Let's dive into that, because
absolutely.
Every time I think about Young Avengers, Champions, Wiccan, I think of you. You're the guy.
I've been a huge fan. Not long after they came out, I had started seeing some stuff about them and was kind of checking it out. I really started going hardcore on them maybe 2007 or 8, where I was like, I'm gonna collect everything these characters are in. To the point where I'm pretty sure my first action figures I bought, although now I have hundreds, were a Young Avengers box set that they did of the four of them, which was Wiccan, Hulkling, my two favorites, as well as Iron Lad and Patriot. And those were some of the first action figures I ever bought, because I was like, oh, I really love these characters, and there's action figures of this gay couple. How can I not buy this? And then from there, I started grabbing, other characters, Colossus in the Ultimate line was gay. So I grabbed a Colossus figure, and it kind of grew from there. And then book-wise, because Young Avengers have had 2 volumes of their own series, but they've also shown up as guests in a lot of other, a lot of Avengers properties. They'll show up in Fantastic Four. They showed up on a lot over the years. So it became once I collected everything that was Young Avengers title, I was oh, but there's so much more with these characters, even if it's only a couple of them or the team as a whole. So I kind of branched out and have been collecting pretty much anything that any of the Young Avengers have been in individually. Now it's the largest section of my comic book collection. I should probably, assuming you edit this and put it out with edits, I should probably send you some pictures so that you can see like the magnitude of the collection I have.
Yes, I would
Like it
like
turns
that.
out, yeah, and then you can splice them in. It
Yeah.
turns out Young Avengers have been in quite a few things. Like it took a lot of research because, of course, you have like it being Marvel and they love their multiverse. Like going through and being like, all right, do I have everything of like main timeline with Kate Bishop, for instance, and then do I have like everything that's like Otherworld Kate Bishop's? But I am to the point now where I've collected virtually everything that any of the Young Avengers have been in as individuals or as a team. Like it's a little disconcerting because I'm a little psycho fan, but yeah, hey.
I get it. I'm the same way with Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen. You have those characters,
Yeah.
they become your comfort characters. So you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to get everything they're in, everything, every model, every
Yeah.
single thing.
And the good thing is with younger or with characters that haven't been around for, 50, 60 years, whereas like the Young Avengers, I believe Cassie was the first, and Cassie Lang, Scott Lang's daughter, kind of showed up in the 70s and would be just like very small roles and occasional, but like the others are all generally 20 years or less younger. So like it's not like, trying to collect everything Peter Parker's ever been in, which is just an impossible task.
Yeah, it's not, I'm not doing that. Mm-mm.
No, that would
My
take.
house isn't big enough.
But yeah, like I really enjoy them. Like they, the writers of the Young Avengers have really made them, as opposed to just being like, oh, it's a sort of teen version of this, teen version of that. They've really made them their own characters and rich characters at that. Like I really enjoy with the MCU where characters from Young Avengers have started showing up, how much people are like, oh, I really enjoy this character, and I'm like Wiccan specifically was the most recent, of course, in Agatha all along, as well as Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, America Chavez, like in Doctor Strange,
Cassie
like
and
yeah,
Quantumania.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Cassie and all the Ant-Man movies, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Which, true to form, Cassie was the first.
I didn't know
Both.
she was the first. That's crazy.
Yeah, I actually was going over my like master list of like everything because I'd gotten some. Oh, as a matter of fact, like Cassie Lang was in Spider Girl comics was
Oh.
a big part of the Spider Girl world. In the early '90s is when you first, I believe, see her as an adult in those. But I was going through my list and I was like, yeah, Cassie popped up in the 70s and then has like always kind of been like a minor presence in for a very long time. So it was kind of and I had started when the first Ant-Man movie came out and Cassie was in that. Like I'd started predicting at the time to friends, I was like, I think we might be heading towards Young Avengers, and people would argue with me for years. For years, people have argued with me that they would never do Young Avengers, and I was like, and now here we are. Of
Yeah.
course, yeah. But yeah, Cassie was the first of them. Like she predates everybody by a good about 20 years.
That was surprising. I would have thought Kamala, honestly, but with Young Avengers, it's pretty much a given. Even though, like most of them, it's kind of like average age Avengers once they get there. So, I think there's a lot of depth to those rumors that says that they're going to be renamed champions for the MCU.
Well, okay, that's a good point. Kamala, God love her, and I do love her, and I love Champions as well. They were a separate team from Young Avengers. I can see there being a wise choice to blend the two in the MCU. Although I'm starting to think as many characters, because like of the Young Avengers, you've got Wiccan and Speed already in the MCU, Kate Bishop already in the MCU, Cassie Lang already in the MCU, America Chavez already in the MCU. Who am I missing?
Kamala.
Oh well, she's champions.
Oh, okay.
And then Hulkling will definitely show up at some point, any point soon.
I'm curious if they'll use Riri Williams too.
That was my thing about, like, I think the whole Jonathan Majors thing might have changed their plans a bit, because Young Avengers Volume 1, the comic, is them versus Kang. And
That's true.
Yeah, and it's Iron Lad Iron Lad appearing, and Kang having come to him and said, "You're the Kang of this universe," and then him going to search for help to stop the other Kangs. And I think that their original plan might have been to have Riri Williams be the Iron Lad as opposed to, or Ironheart. Yeah, I thought it was a damn clever move if that's where they were headed. Because I was like, oh, one more female? Sure. And, like, it also was that in the Young Avengers makeup, the only straight white guy in the history of the team was Iron Lad. Mm-hmm. So, like, changing it to Ironheart would have meant they are an entirely minority team, be it queer, black, well, queer, POC, or female, or combinations therein. Mm-hmm. So you've got most of the Young Avengers already in the MCU, and now you have Kamala, who is champions. They were talking about Nova, although apparently they paused development on that show, as well as Totally Awesome Hulk. There was rumors that they'd shot a cameo for the new Captain America that was going to be Amadeus Cho, and then of course with the Vision show upcoming, I'm pretty sure you're getting Viv Vision, who is his daughter and one of the champions as well. I think they might. I mean, it remains to be seen whether they combine them or keep them separate. But, like, certainly there are quite a few champions and quite a few Young Avengers already in the MCU at this point.
I'd actually like if they merged them all to be champions, because I like Young Avengers, but it's taken them this long to form this team, so I don't see them doing both. So I think they'll pick one or the other, and I think they're aware that Young Avengers is just so meme worthy, because it's been like a decade since we all thought like it's coming at some point. I think they get it, but I don't think a movie will be called Champions or Young Avengers. Right. I think it'll be called something else, but the team will form in the movie.
Yeah,
but I'd also like a whole series of it, honestly, because
I would really prefer a series.
Yeah, it could be really fun with these personalities.
Yeah, especially because you're not going to get solo projects of them like they do with, like, you know, Cap and Thor and everybody. So the more time you can spend with them, the better.
No, I agree. And plus, they're going back to special presentations because they said that with the Punisher, he's getting one. So that was surprising in a few ways. So that could be a special presentation of them coming together. Yeah, I'm actually really excited for Daredevil when that premieres in a week or so, as well as Punisher, because, like, when I watched all those Netflix shows, you never would have been able to tell me that Punisher would have been my favorite of those, because, like, I never cared about that character in the comics. It was always such a, like, aggressive, violent, straight boy kind of thing. No personality.
Like,
just Frank Castle shooting shit up.
Yeah. And I was like, I was really pleasantly surprised by how much I absolutely loved the Punisher series amongst the Netflix stuff.
I loved it too, but I feel like there's just one little thing missing from it, and I don't know what it is. Otherwise, like, it's so good. It's so underrated, because I think at the time there was a lot of gun violence stuff going on in the news, all that, like a lot of review bombing for shows like that, and so it got pretty beaten down. But it was great. It was a great Frank Castle story.
I was saying to somebody a couple of months ago, at the time that, like, during lockdown, I did like a whole rewatch of everything Marvel from beginning to end, including all the TV shows. It was a lengthy, daunting task. But I also had, at the time, 2 TVs mounted above and below each other. And, like, because I would do, like, I am one of those people, like, I like to be doing multiple things at once. So, like, just sitting down to watch a TV show is a little bit hard for me. Like, I end up, like, walking around the apartment with the headphones on, just kind of listening to it while I clean or do something else. But, like, with the two TV setup, like, I would be playing Mario Kart on one screen and watching Punisher on the other, and it was such a bizarre but delightful mix of, like, whimsy and silly and fun
so
and
cool.
like dark fucked up vengeance. And I was like,
I do that on my phone. How you can turn it and watch a show in a little screen and then play a game on the rest. That's what I do. And my husband's like, "What are you like? Pick one thing. Are you okay?"
yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, "This is ADHD unmedicated."
Same.
Yeah, that's so cool.
On the Young Avengers note, I don't know if you know or if you saw, but like Marvel, their YouTube channel put out, like, what was it? I think it was the beginning of the month. Put out a cute little Young Avengers, like, happy 20th. Yeah. Oh, that was adorable.
I know. I loved it, and I was like, okay, I need more of this.
Yeah.
Like, why are you guys giving this to us? What are you doing? What's going on?
Yeah, they've always kind of lightly promoted Young Avengers and those characters, but not like in the way that they do everybody else. But you can tell that somebody somewhere in the Marvel structure, like, there's always at least a few people that really are into Young Avengers, because they just never disappeared completely. At one point,
there's a Cameron Cole somewhere there that's like, but guys, I know Daredevil, but think about that. They're in New York.
Yeah. On that note, I have a friend that has worked at Marvel for a very long time.
Oh, wow.
And they've always been like, oh, if you want to come. And I was like, no, I don't, because, like, I know I would embarrass myself, like, crying in the building. And at one point, because I'm a writer, they were like, well, if you want to pitch something with, like, characters that you would like to write for. And I was like, oh my God, I do in the worst way. But, like, I also can't begin to imagine where, because it's just, like, I'm a dialogue writer. I can write some very charming dialogue, but, like, plot-wise, I've just never, I enjoy the shit out of comics, but, like, I'm not the person that's like, oh, I know, we'll have them searching for whatever phlebotinum and fighting this character. I'm like, I don't.
Dude, I would lie. I can't write. So I would be there like, I have the best pitch just to get in the building. I really need you at some point to go there just to see what happens, how you like it. Like, that's such a big thing, and you're such a big fan.
I know, like, lifelong, because I'm 40, almost 48, and I've been doing since I was about 7 or 8. So yeah, like, lifelong fan, almost 40 years. But, like, I know I would get in that building and just start crying because I am an emotional pushover.
I cry too.
Yeah,
I'm not a crier, but, like, this is our passion, you know?
Walking around being like, did Stan eat lunch here? Because, yeah, I'm the worst. Like, my friends make fun of me. I have Corey and Meg, two of my best friends. Like, we go see all the Marvel stuff on opening day, like, first showing in the 3D 4D. And, like, I am notorious for I cry at every Marvel thing. Doesn't matter which one, at some point I will start crying. Like, which, in fairness, these are characters that I grew up on my whole life and never thought I would see, like, on the screen like this. Like, but, like, the funniest one was we went to see Wakanda Forever. And they, without telling me, had made a bet to see how long I went before I started crying. And I didn't even make it through the, like, Marvel logo.
I knew it. It was so quiet. I teared up too. Like, okay.
Oh, yeah. The lack of sound and just only pictures of Chadwick Boseman, who I absolutely loved. Yeah. Like, I just immediately, before, like, 2 seconds into the movie, I'm already bawling. Like, I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, I don't cry at all. Like, movies, never. No, I can't tell you the last time I did. It was probably Wakanda Forever, actually. But once it went to that tribute opener, I was done. I was
Yeah.
over. I was like, I should not have come to this movie. There's other people here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin their experience right now.
Same with Captain Marvel when the logo was all Stan Lee. I lost it. I was like, oh, God damn it. No.
People don't really realize that, like, it's such a passion because, you know, you are so invested in these characters. You've grown up with these characters. You've watched them grow. You've seen these storylines play out. You're so invested in this big, huge world, and there's always something new to learn. So you're always looking for more to learn. It does become such a lifestyle, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, same. Like, I can remember being a kid and, like, loving, what was it called? Super Friends, the animated one with all the DC characters, and then Spider-Man and his amazing friends, like, were, like, my favorite cartoons as a kid. And, like, I had, in the 80s, early 80s, they used to make, I don't know if they still make them, they probably do, but, like, these underwear and t-shirt sets called Underoos. And it would be like this, like the Spider-Man t-shirt with the matching underwear. Like, I wanted those as a kid and absolutely was so happy when I got them for, like, birthdays and Christmas.
Aww.
Yeah,
so
like, I, lifelong fan. I'm an old man.
Yeah, I get that. I always thought, like, oh, I fell in love with Spider-Man when I watched the Tobey Maguire movies. And then one day, like a few years ago, my mom texted me a picture of 2-year-old me dressed like Spider-Man. And she's like, you've always been this way. And I was like,
Yeah.
My mom wanted, like, a princess daughter. Now she has 3 sons and me.
Yeah, or Wonder Woman was another one too for me. Like, speaking of princess, like, I loved that Linda Carter Wonder Woman. I used to watch that, like, whenever I could.
Oh, speaking of Wonder Woman, her video game just got canceled.
Yeah, I know. I was really sad about that because, like, I was like, oh, like, I totally would have bought and played that game. Same with, like, the Wolverine game. Like, I'm like, I mean, like, there are certain limitations, like, in what I will play, because I don't like brawlers. And, like, I just had an argument, well, not an argument, like, I had coworkers of mine at one of the bars I worked the other night. The bartender and was like, he was like, oh, how do you not like Marvel Rivals? And I was like, I'm not into brawlers. He was like, yeah, but it's Marvel characters. You love Marvel characters. And I was like, but I'm not into brawlers. Like, I don't want to fight.
Yeah, I tried. I do think if I actually was okay at it and not the one bringing the team down and getting eaten by Jeff the land shark every few minutes, I think I might enjoy it. But it's like, I love the character. I just want to look at them. Like,
oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like, I love Jeff. I absolutely love Jeff. Like, I have in my Young Avengers shelf, which remind me after this, and I'll take pictures of everything that you can splice in. Yeah. But, like, I have a Jeff the Shark standing right next to Kate Bishop.
And Jeff's, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
She's not pleased that the power was out, and then, like, now she's like, okay, the power's on. What do we get to do? I'm like, we're not doing anything. So, sorry. But, yeah, Jeff the land shark's supposed to be in the MCU at some point. It's like, how? How are we doing this?
I mean, in a world where Crypto is in Superman, why not Jeff the land shark? Even though I'm always like, all right. Like, do I love Jeff? Yes. Do I absolutely need him in the MCU? Not really. Like, it's kind of a silly concept that maybe they can make it work, but, like, that was another thing, too. Speaking of the Superman trailer, like, when they announced that they were doing Crypto, I was like, really? Do we need the super dog? Like, that
the shorts?
seems... Oh, no, even before, like, before the trailer dropped, and, like, Gunn had said something about, oh, Crypto's going to be in there. And I was like, that seems silly. But then, oh, my God, the second he popped up in that trailer, I was 1,000% hooked. I was like, oh, totally in on Crypto. Like, all in on Crypto.
Yeah, so when he said crypto is coming, I was like, oh, that should be cool. I hope it's not like a Grogu thing where they're doing it just for
Hmm.
like merchandise to buy the
Right.
cute thing. And then I saw crypto and I was like, I will die for crypto. I'll take a bullet right now.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah,
But
that was. Oh, I choked up when you saw that, like, that
yes.
snow cloud rising as he was running.
Oh, when he just showed up and he's like, take me home. I'm like, you got it, crypto. You can do it.
I'm actually really looking forward to that movie.
I'd
As
say it's my most anticipated movie of the year, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really did not love the Snyderverse. Like, there were moments. Like, here's the thing. I love arguing with Snyder cultists, but like, because it's funny. They just have no perspective on reality. I mean, because here's the thing. I am a Snyder fan. Like, I love 300. I absolutely, people mock me for it, but I think Watchmen is one of the greatest comic adaptations they've done, even though he changed quite a bit for the ending. But like, Watchmen is an exceptionally good comic book movie, especially if you've read that book. It is just intensely as close as they could get it. I enjoy Snyder. Dawn of the Dead too, like, absolutely love. Uh, did not think he was a good fit for those characters. Like, I don't like a brooding, emo, constantly sad Superman. It just kind of runs against the grain of the character and like everything that character's really stood for. But I do love Snyder, and I've been saying, like, for years, I was like, I think where Snyder maybe went wrong was he was just not a good fit for those characters, and he ended up kind of making them like diet Watchmen. Like, Superman, in a lot of ways, to me, in those movies, feels like or like Doctor Watchman Zero or Diet Doctor Watchman. I'm like, this is not really Superman. Like, but I will say, with the new DC, like, number one, so in with the Superman, like, in anticipating it more than I am anything Marvel, which is always having been a much more Marvel person. It's surprising. But also because I'm like, oh, okay, this feels like the DC I know. Like, there's a joy and like color and brightness, and not just constantly like no humor, everybody's miserable. Like, however, I will say, when Gunn announced the slate, The Authority is one of the first comics that I really was like doing I'm going to collect everything that they've done, because like, there's two characters in that are a gay couple, Apollo and Midnighter, that are technically really the first gay couple like in comic books. And like, if you don't know The Authority, it's a very dark, violent, uh, sort of version of Avengers or Justice League. But like, I actually think if you're gonna put Snyder on anything, let him do The Authority. Like, that's such a Snyder property, where everybody's like very violent, very angry, and very dark characters. Like, but I am really curious to see the Authority movie that they do, because I'm like, God, who do you even get to play Midnighter and Apollo, that like, in this age where we're doing serious reversal on gains of what we've done with gay rights and gay representation, like, that's gonna piss a lot of fake DC fans off that are just like, I mean, here's the thing, like, with Star Wars, Star Trek, comic books, like, they've always been woke. They've always been woke. Like, that was the entire point. And I don't understand these people that are like, oh, when did it go so woke? And I'm like, literally episode or issue one. Like, with very few exceptions from day one. Like, X-Men maybe wasn't. X-Men took a little while to get there. Because, like, oh, God, I have all the X-Men stuff, and I slogged through that original run before giant size X-Men, I really don't recommend it. Like, because it is some very 60s writing. Like, and like the idea of the representation was there, but like it really doesn't hit its stride till giant size with Claremont.
Yeah, I think it was just, I don't know how to describe it. Like, the idea that they wanted
Right,
diversity from the X-Men was there, but it was written at a time
right.
by people who did not care about that.
Yeah,
They just had the idea. Like, you have Kitty Pryde dropping the N-word. You have
yeah,
Professor X hitting on 16-year-old Jean and losing
yeah,
his shit over it. Like,
yeah,
that, it was a very, very awkward time there.
yeah. Which, like, I am also same as Superman. I can't believe we're gonna get Superman and Fantastic Four within 2 weeks of each other.
I
But like,
know.
I've never really been a big Fantastic fan because, like, every time I would kind of check in on them when I was a kid, at least, like, pardon me, it was a very, like, cheesy, still very 60s feeling, like, of writing. And I understand a lot of writers have done a lot with them since. Like, I'm actually currently trying to get the Jonathan Hickman omnibuses of Fantastic Four because, like, A, they're going on my Young Avengers shelf, but also, like, it sounds like he was at least one of the ones that really changed it up a lot. But, like, yeah, the most amazing thing about how they are doing the Fantastic Four in the MCU now is, like, I was saying to my friend Corey, I was like, it's kind of perfect because, like, having them in this other world that's very, like, retro futuristic and, like, very upbeat. I was like, it gives you the ability to do these very 60s characters without, like, really changing them up. Like that most recent one was so, like, a Snyder take on Fantastic Four, and bless that director
Oof.
for trying. But yeah, like, you can't just force grimdark on, like, these characters that can't structurally support it. Like, in Fantastic Four is one of those. They're such, like, deeply rooted in 60s, like, that optimism and cheese. And but yeah, like, early Marvel sometimes is a little bit hard to get through, like, by today's standards. Same with Avengers in the beginning was a little on the cheese side.
Which, I mean, like, I get it. Like,
Yeah,
to a degree, I like the cheesiness, but I
sure.
do like the modernization of it to where it's like, okay, I'm not cringing as much, and that's pretty good for me, so I'm fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'm very much a child of the 80s, and comics at that point, like, you've got your John Byrne and your Chris Claremont that are, like, have kept it honoring what came before, but certainly have shifted it a little more modern. Uh, but yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to that Fantastic Four movie. Like, it seems like they've really figured out how to do them without
Which,
it being just really weird.
well, I always knew the Fantastic Four movie was in good hands because that's Kevin Feige's favorite team. So I was
Yeah.
like, he's gonna go balls to the wall. I know he is.
Yeah.
So I was never too worried about it. But like, it's taken it in a way that I just didn't expect it. Like, she's definitely pregnant. Like, you can
Yeah.
see
Oh,
in the trailer, 100% she's pregnant. They removed that bump.
Yeah, when Corey and I went to see Captain America, like, and they showed that trailer, I was like, I'm pretty sure that that is the same when the Spider-Man Homecoming, well, not Homecoming, No Way Home trailer came out, and you saw one Spidey jumping at all the things because they digitally erased the Toby and the Andrew.
Yeah.
I think they digitally erased her pregnancy. I was like, it also makes all the sense in the world that she would be pregnant with Franklin, and that's what Galactus is coming for. Like,
Yeah.
because Franklin, like Billy Wiccan, is an incredibly powerful character, like reality warper. So, like, It makes a lot of sense that he would be the plot device.
Yeah, it's like Wiccan, he's destined to be an entity.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious how strong they're going to make Franklin. If it is Franklin, I don't want to jump the gun because like
Sure.
they could pull something crazy here and
Yeah.
it'd be Valeria or whatever. But
Valeria.
Valeria, I've never heard her name out loud, so I don't know.
I think it's Valeria, but I could be wrong.
Valeria. That it sounds like a disease. Valeria.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What was I gonna say? It clicked something in my head, but then I don't remember what. No. Yeah, I am excited about. If it is Franklin, that'll be really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say because you mentioned Wiccan. So Joe Locke came to one of the bars I worked like maybe a week ago. I wasn't there, and like of course the staff knowing how much like I am like Wiccan is my favorite character ever, and like I couldn't even. I hosted an Agatha All Along viewing party at that bar, and I couldn't watch the show. Like we would do the trivia beforehand. I would start the show at 9, and then I would mostly try to avoid watching it because I would watch it the next day because again, crier. And like so like every time I would look up at one of the monitors in the bar and see like Joe Locke as Wiccan, I would just start like choking up.
Yes.
But so he came to the bar, and of course the staff was like, "Oh my god, like Joe Locke is here, get here." And I was like, "No." I was like, I would embarrass myself horribly.
Oh my gosh, who cares? Go.
I was like, eventually we'll run into each other, and I will try very hard not to cry.
Life is meant to be lived. Let him see you cry. I promise every celebrity, every Marvel exec, everyone, they have seen a weirder person. Like,
Yeah.
they have people who are, like, all over them in the weirdest way. So it's
Yeah.
like, they've seen it all. And
Well,
he's so sweet. I think he'd be like,
he seems very sweet.
oh, yeah.
I will say I've always kind of been the person you want to introduce celebrities to, because like the only ones I really like go nuts over are like generally writers. Like writers, I get like so crazy, but like I've stood there and like had wine with Lady Gaga while telling a story about something her mother did, and I'm like, like, but like. Versus, like, I met, most people probably wouldn't even know the name, but a writer who died, unfortunately, last year. One of my favorite writers, a playwright named Christopher Durang. And, like, I was going crazy. Like, to the point where I looked at him at one point and I was like, I think I might be frightening Christopher Durang a little bit. Like, and, like, most people wouldn't even know his name. I was like, but we'd been set up through mutual friends where she was like, "Oh, you like Christopher Durang?" I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, until I learned my own style of writing, like I was just ripping off Durang, like, because like so many writers, until you find your own voice, you just steal everybody else's.
Yeah, I've never actually thought of it that way. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, most writers. I don't want to speak for everybody.
But like
But-
they all are heavily influenced until
Oh,
they
yeah. Yeah,
until
yeah.
they find, like you said, their own voice.
Yeah, it's always fun to have conversation with other writers to be like, who are your influences? Because like it'll tell you a lot.
I never thought that's really cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I don't know how many other. Well, I guess painters, visual artists rather, would probably be in a similar ability to like you can kind of steal from the ones you love until you find your own path. Like, there's not a lot of other things that you can really get away with that on, though.
No, there's really not. Like acting,
No.
singing, it's like those are kind of your own, that comes from you.
Yeah.
Well, that does lead us time to wrap up this conversation.
Sure.
I can't believe we've been talking this long. It's just been so fun. Like we've talked about
Yeah,
so
same.
many things.
I'm a babbler.
Oh, I love it. It's so
Yeah.
fun. Please, where can our listeners find you?
Okay, so I am on Facebook as Cameron Cole. It's a picture of Wiccan
Yeah.
from the comics as my avatar. Feel free to add me. I also am on Instagram as Cam and the City, like Sex and the City, AND, but CAMANDTHECITY. We will be doing a premiere of the movie that I wrote and directed in late March. If you happen to be in the New York area, you can also message me about that. But yeah,
You're the busiest person, I swear. My goodness.
pretty busy. Like yesterday was a day off, and like I just could not be bothered to do anything. Like I should have been working on the blooper reel for the movie, but I was running a little bit of a temperature and was just like, no, I just cannot. Like, yeah, I move a lot.
I think your body just kind of is like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
done enough.
Yeah.
I get it. It's funny how our bodies work. But thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you,
love,
Megan.
Of course, I love having you. You're welcome back anytime. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much. Always a joy.
Of course. Thank you for listening to this episode of Vigilante Vibes. Wherever you're listening, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my amazing guests like Cameron or any other future episode. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a marvelous night.